let's just start out looking at this other piece for just a minute. Again, this is just sort of a preview of things to come on the next one. So I don't want you to get too caught up in too many details yet, because I want you to see kind of what's going to happen. But for instance, this little thing here, I've done this dark little thing here, and it just sort of stands out a little too much. I want some of these edges to stand out, but it's just a little too much of a thing sticking out there all on its own. And so I'm going to take my Mr. Clean Sponge. I should call it, what should we call this? Maybe our just magic lifter or something. And I'm going to break through that just a little bit. I don't want to get rid of all of it or soften all of it, but you see how I've just weakened that a little bit? And I think that's going to be a whole lot better balance. Another thing that I have been doing, or that we will be doing with the next one, is just making transition areas. And one way you can do that, here I've got some here, but I'll make it a little bit lighter. So you can see I'm using circles because I like what Shirley Trevina does. She has those polka dots that just jump off of, or pattern that just jumps off of one thing and goes on to something else. So so this stands out a little bit more, but you can, what this does is, this helps to make a transition between this and this and this. The transitions are really important. Now, I think that's better. I'm looking at it from close up, but I think that that's better. We could think of this as pollen, or viruses. Oh, no, not that. Okay, so here we are, and I'm trying to get myself in the right frame of mind to paint. It's a little bit hard because I can't warm up on it first, and it's a video, so whatever I do is whatever I do. No, whoops, I didn't explain this. So this is Quin Gold, and this is Prussian Blue. Let's see what that looks like. Looks strange. Okay, I've got a leaf here that could go dark. Oh, I've got more Quin Gold in this one than I have over here. And see, the thing on this too is that you don't necessarily want to keep this all the same color all the way through. So let's see. Let's just see what happens if I just drop a little Prussian Blue in over here. There's probably a little Quin Gold still left on my brush. If you get some dry brush, you might want to leave a little of it. Does that still show? And then I want to pull it off the edge of the page, because my goal here too is to get people used to the idea of connecting to the edge of the page instead of having a little subject just floating out here in the center. Okay, so I like that color change. I'm really not liking this shape right here. I know this is what I sent to y'all. I'm thinking about changing it, but I'm not going to change it yet. So let's come up here. So we have this kind of spring green we mixed before, and now we're going with the olives. So we'll see what that does. I'm hoping it does something nice, because I don't get to mess up with just some of you. I'm messing up with all of you at once if I mess up. Oh, okay, I can't even tell what this shape is anymore. I think this is the leaf. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to switch color here and go to just a pure Prussian blue. Of course, it doesn't look all that bright because it's on top of other color. Let's see, what is, oh, okay, this is the leaf. And that is empty space, and this is those little thingies that I can't remember what you call them, that are on the back of the back side of the flower. Those little green kind of leafy things. Oops. Okay. Oh, there's another tangential line. Okay, I better get rid of that. Let's just do this. Okay. Oh, that's a nice shaped leaf. Okay, so then let's go to the more to the blue, and this leaf is just coming right in behind here. And you know, there could be just a tiny bit of it showing right there. Okay. Well, let's see, we've got at least one more. So right now, I'm kind of making them all look the same. Let's add a little bit of something a little brighter in here. I know, I'm gonna put a little bit of that, what's the name of that? Cobalt Teal into this. And I think it's gonna take more than that to show up. This is the color that you mixed with the yellow earlier to make the spring green. Okay, so here we go. Oh yeah. Oh, I like that. Oh, I should have done more of that over someplace else. Well, guess what? We'll have plenty of opportunity because Cobalt Teal is a very opaque color. And so, sorry, can't always talk and paint at the same time. Let's see. I can't make up my own drawing. That's kind of bad, I think. Oops. Okay. Oh, here it is. And right now, I don't have that stem down here that's in this one, this stem right here, but that's no problem. We can put that in later. Well, let's go over this way. If you don't get your leaf just where I got my leaf, it's okay. Okay. So, and here's a little space. Here's a little negative space between those little green thingies I was talking about. Someone told me what that's called, but I've forgotten. You can text me and tell me if you want. Okay, here. Just maybe do that. Well, that's an interesting shaped leaf. Yeah, I kind of like it. I think I like it. Okay. You know, it's not too late to come over here, and now that I'm liking this Cobalt Teal, you remember what Cobalt Teal looks like? Here it is right here. I hadn't pre-wet it. I just drop a little bit in over here. This is still, it's still got some sheen on it. But here's the thing, even if it didn't, you can do this, because this piece is not about everything being smooth and soft and perfect. This piece is more about being exciting, we hope. Oh, that's kind of nice. And look what it's doing. You're still going to have some darker edges from the blue, and then this is pushing it over a little bit. That's always kind of fun. Oh, I like that so much better than this. I really don't like this one. Well, what am I going to do if I don't like it? Well, that's simple. Ta-da! Let's just, let's mop a little of that out. I wanted to get some strong darks in here, but that's just so damn dull. So, while I'm at it, you know, I don't have anything interesting going on down here. So, why don't I just pull a little of that color? It's dull, but I'm going to put in pale. Here. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is going to be better. Well, let's just do a little of it up here, too. Now, I don't want it all smooth. I want it kind of blobby. Oh. Okay. I'll come back when that's dry and put some more leaf in. In fact, I might just thicken that leaf. So I think I'm going to break up the edge a little more right there, because I think I'm going to come in and make that leaf a fatter leaf. That one's kind of hidden up under here. I'm going to make it droop down here. Okay. Droop, that's a word that's really in my vocabulary now that I've gotten older. Well, so I'm looking at this. Now, I'm working intuitively. I'm just going on urge. You may not get comfortable with this. You might want, you know, if you want to follow just what I do, that's okay. Just know that it's fine to kind of break out on your own. As I'm looking at this little voice in my head says, I wonder how that would look if I had a little cobalt teal floating on top of this. Now, right now, that looks really drastic because it's an opaque color and it's standing out here. Oh, by the way, I have a problem over here. I forgot about that. I want to show you. So, I'm thinning it out a little bit, but not too much. Let's just see what that does. I think it might be pretty. So what's bothering me here, I liked having some little edges, some little darker edges, but this edge is not attractive. It just looks like one of those clumsy places that when there's a little sharp edge, it needs to be, I like it to be really, really thin. These just look like, well, it looks like the painting got away from me. So what am I going to do? Well, here we go again. Let's just pull. I don't want to get the brown up into the yellow. So I'm going to go from the yellow and pull downward this way. Ah, looky there. Well, isn't that better already? Okay, take a clean spot and do another place there. There. Okay, there's still a little bit of a line there, but I think that's better now. You no longer have that effect of that clunky, heavy outline going all the way around. This, as it dries, will fade quite a bit in color intensity. I think it's going to be interesting to see what it does on top of all this blotting we did, which I thought was gorgeous. Okay, where next? Well, that's a good question. I think I need to dry this. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. I changed my mind. Let's not dry that yet. I think what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to splatter a little bit. So this has begun to dry. So maybe I'll get some interesting texture in it. I'm just splattering a little water here and there. You know, maybe we will, maybe we won't. A lot of this texture you'll never be able to find later because we're going to mess with it so much. But let's do that. And then let's pick up a little color. I'm going to kind of shield part, but maybe not all of my sunflower. And I'll do a few gentle drops because I've got it so wet, it's just falling off of the brush, which is great. It makes a different kind of pattern when it's just real wet and sort of just falling off and you just gently slinging it. That's different from when you sling it hard. So I kind of, okay, I don't want it everywhere. Oops. So I got it up here. And it might not be good up here because by the time I'm through, that's going to get smeared. So I think I'm going to blot it here. That's enough. Now, if I put it all over, that wouldn't be a good thing. It's just having a few select spots. Okay. There. I've got it set up so this is my line. I can't go over that line or you can't see it. Okay, now I'm going to, you see how it's beginning to get more interesting? Now I'm going to dry it. This has made a little bit more transition between the darks and the light areas. So kind of just that little bit of splatter kind of pulled it together. Okay, one thing about getting this, drying this, is that the heat of the dryer may make your tape try to pull up. So just shove it back down and keep going. By the way, that's a good way to find your tape later if it's painted over so much you can't find it. Just heat it up and it'll start to curl up and come off. So I think I'm just going to throw a little extra tape on here. So we'll make that one go off the edge. I like this where I group 3 little spots together somewhere. Yeah, let's put that one right over this transition. Although I don't know if it's going to stay there long enough to do that. We'll see. So, whoops, I could get off my finger. Oh, by the way, if you see that on my hand, that's where I discovered that the stamp that Alexandra got me to do my return address is really cool. I haven't gotten it off yet. Okay. Should I have done more? Do I have anything over there? I've got something up in that. I don't have a thing there. Let's do 1 or 2 more. I've washed my hands so damn much. They're dry, so dry that the tape keeps sticking to my skin. See, if you don't like it there later, you can minimize it to such a point that it hardly shows, but it'll make a more interesting area even then when you do it. Ooh, I don't have paper towels. Clean. Okay. So now I think I'm going to have some really pale olive. Oh, well, I should show you. I've got olive here, or I've got sort of an olive. You know, it's not quite olive enough. It's got so much Quinn Gold in it that it's a little bit of a brown. It's a little too brown. I think I need something a little bit brighter to go in there. You know, I'll try this and see. We may change our minds. See that little bit? That's phthalo green. Oh, that's kind of nice. Yeah, okay. Well, let's just throw some more of it over here. A lot of water. A teeny bit more phthalo green. A little phthalo green goes such a long ways. You really have to be careful with it. Okay, I think that's going to work. Let's try it. So I've got it thinned out, but I may thin it out some more as I go. And I'm going to put in a little bit more background tone. Let's see, there's background right there. And you could do this with a round brush and you might like it better. I think I want to get it a little stronger right in here. I don't want it the same everywhere. I'll leave a few gaps there. So I'm working on dry paper, obviously. You know, let's pick up a little bit of this darker area and put that in. I added a couple more of those little green things there. I decided maybe I need a little bit more balance. You know, don't feel like you're just stuck with my drawing the way it is. And I'm going to paint, when I paint this, I'm going to pull it across here and maybe pull some color out that way from this piece. You see how much better this looks? I'm even thinking about not even having an edge on that leaf when I get through with it. Just having a dark there. I kind of like that. Yeah. There's tape. Oop. Well, do I really want this everywhere? Maybe I don't over here. Let's just put a few marks of it in there and leave what's there. I do like this. You know, every now and there's a space between these petals where you might see the background. In theory, actually, if you're looking at a real one, there probably isn't, but I like to put them in there anyway. It makes just a nice little pop of dark in some places, like that. Oh, that looks like two eyes and a mouth. Okay. Let's keep going. So that was the darker olive. The one sans phthalo green. By the way, I always use phthalo green blue shade. What I want in this, I want to have textures, but I want the textures to be, you know, it looks like we're putting in a lot of really loud texture. But the fact is that when we're through, we're going to have the texture modified so that the basic shapes pretty much hold up. Oh, let's see, that's one of those little thingies that curls up. All of that is. Okay. Here's a spot. You know, they could get a little darker there. Yeah. Here's one of those pieces of tape that's coming up. Let's just pull that out. Let's, yeah, do that to that edge. A little of this will come up. Now, I'm still, even though you see me working like that, I'm still being pretty gentle with this paper because I don't want to make everything go dull. And if you overdo it, you'll make everything dull. Okay, well, I'm not pleased because it's a little, oh, I think it's going to be fine. But you know what? I'm just going to come in here while this is still wet and do a few blots. You know, the best blots are the slow ones where you just press down and then you pull up. Give it a little bit of time. Yeah. Oh, here. Well, I'll just pull that out into here. Just kind of like we did over here. Pull that out into here and leave it. I don't want to take too much out of the leaf either. Do I want to do that up here? Well, let's see. Oh, maybe just a little bit. I may go back and put that edge back in, or I may not. I don't have a clue. I do not have a great plan here. The thing is to remain flexible and respond to what you see happening. When you see something happen that you like, maybe try it in some more places. But don't do it every place, because then it gets boring. I think I'll break up an edge there too. So you have an overall shape, but you have some edges that are beginning to soften and get a little bit lost. We don't really, now this leaf shape, and it was drawn to look like one of these leaves, but at this point, it doesn't look like a leaf. It doesn't look like anything. It may, and that may be perfectly fine. And I don't know what we'll do with it later. We'll figure something out. So I like some of those slightly lighter places coming up in here. I don't want to mess with my droplets. Maybe I could just add a little bit and blot. Okay, this is better now because it's not so static. Oh, look, there is an edge, kind of a crisp edge there. I started to take it out, and then I realized, no, that's kind of nice there. I want more of this kind of thing later on. So up here, remember I was interested in, I just don't know that I'm going to get it, but in keeping some strong lights up here. And don't forget, I've got some strong lights under some of this tape. So I want the feeling that there's light coming that is backlit. So what I think I'll do is, I think I'll imitate what I did over here because I like that. So one of the things I did was I had dark edges on the tips of these petals, and it kind of gave it a feeling like there's light coming through. And then this has got a little bit of color, but it's very weak, and there's a few areas in it that are totally white. And by the way, if you lose too many whites, you can come back with some white ink in the end. Okay, so I'll just, maybe I'll take a little bit of, can y'all see this? I'll take just a little bit of this stuff, whatever it is now, because it's kind of a gray. Let's just work a tad bit of that in there and maybe break up a few edges. I haven't decided yet there. So I think, well, I don't want to take time to dry, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to work a little more on the sunflower. And I've got some tape on the sunflower, and I think I'm going to pull that tape up. Ugh. Well, it bled up under the tape, and that made an interesting shape. Some of the rest of this I need to push down a little bit more. I don't know if it's going to do its job. Let's see. Does this one have tape up in the flower? No. That might be all of it that's actually on the flower. Let's do a little work on the flower. So you see how this is getting busy, but it's busy in a good way, and we've got this contrast between these bright springy greens and this yellow glow green here. Remember, it's got it's our olive with just a touch of phthalo green added into it, and that's really pretty. And And then those spots did a whole lot. Before the spots, we had these 4 dark greenish areas, and they didn't seem to belong. But when we threw the spots in there that were the same color as some of the leaves, it brought it all together. I mean, it had a fabulous effect. Okay, let's see. So I'm going to put this color away. I'm not going to empty it out because we'll use it in a little bit. And we're going to mix up some, flower color. Yeah, flower color. Okay. So I'm going to get my Quin Coral because I just really like Quin Coral. By the way, I got this stuff somebody put me on to. It's called, don't anybody just run out and order it. I'm still messing with it, but it's called quinacridone lilac. It looks sort of like a dark version of opera. Of course, since it's dark, it doesn't have quite the same brightness, but it's really kind of pretty. Okay, and then, what would I like to have happen here? I think I want to stay a little more colorful for now, so I'm going to use New Gamboge here. So this is going to make a bright, very transparent orange. It's one of the best oranges you can get. And there's some other little petal things going on there, but I don't know if I'm going to get involved with those. Let's see. And just build in a little bit more darks. I'm just making this up. Well, see, that didn't look right. But if you soften some of the edges, so let's make here I'm making not really a water neutral brush. I'm taking some of the water out of it, but it's still pretty wet. By the way, we're working flat for the same reason. It's because when you work flat, you can have these puddles and back runs and things build up. When you work on a slant, you don't get the back runs. So we want some of that messiness that you might be trying to avoid in some other type of painting. But here, we're just gonna enjoy the messiness. Yeah, this might work. Maybe a little stronger coral in a spot or two. Oh, what are we gonna do with that? And here's the thing. We've all put tape down in slightly different spots. There is no plan. So what you have to do is you have to make something up. We'll look at ways to think about that in just a little bit. Yeah, that's kind of nice. I want to be careful not to overdo it. Especially right up in here. Like Cheap Joe's got this Halloween orange. I don't know the true name of it. It's a newer pigment. Oh, let's just do that. And Halloween orange at some level of mixture of these two will look like Halloween orange. But you can go darker with this and get it stronger and it stays transparent. Halloween orange is really not, I guess it's semi-transparent. You get a lot of it built up and it starts looking pasty. This won't look pasty. So this is good stuff. Okay, well, let's start out. I'll just pick up a little Quin Gold right here. I'll get it kind of strong. I've got water standing in this. So if I put Quin Gold here, no matter what I do to this spot, unless I get it super dark, it will never match the rest of that. And that's what I'm hoping for. So I'll start out doing something like that. Oh, by the way, we got this dry. This needs some you know, to get painted back in some too. Maybe that. Well, I don't know what that's all going to be yet. You don't have to know yet. So here's the back of these petals, and here's the underneath of these leafy things that curve up this way. So I'm going to start to make them curve. Some of them are still white, you know. Let's just use a Quin Gold, and then water neutral brush, and we'll soften this edge up here. Not too much water because we want it to stay dark down there. We don't want to flood that area. So can you see how it begins to make this start to curve? I'll just put a bunch more Quin Gold out here, and we'll just do some more of that. This one is behind that one. So let's follow this edge, because we do want to follow some of the pattern of the flower. It's fun to make it be not quite flower, but you know, if you overdo it, you don't have anything. I like abstraction, but I like it mostly where you could still see a hint of something in it, at least. And here, you can see a lot of something in it. So let's, right here on top of this green, let's just deepen that. So right now, that almost looks like petals, the ones that don't have green on them. And we'll figure that out later. So there, let's put a little, just a little bit of something back here. Because we want to separate, we want to put this behind that one. It may need to go a lot darker. It might need to go more like the background right behind it, this one, to be halfway between this and this. But right now we've got the gold on there, and we're going to stop because we want to let that dry. Here we go. Whoa. Oh, I thought there was tape there, but there's not. Okay. So again, you want to keep this brush really close to water neutral, because that's a small area and you don't want to flood it. You don't want to flood water back that way, and you don't want it to flow up this way a lot because you're trying to make that sense of a curve. Here's one that's behind another one. And you know, if you don't get them quite the way I do, it doesn't matter. It's still going to read right as long as you've got this curve in whichever ones you curve. Here's one right here. And then see, I did this sneaky thing because once I looked at my start that I had, I wasn't happy. And so I added another one of those little things there and down here. You can add to your drawing anytime you want. If you think you need something to make balance, I want you to do it. I don't want you to just do something because I did it. I mean, well, yeah, you should some because you're discovering what I'm trying to show you. But I still want you to take some chances. Okay, again. Let's pull that out a little more. There. Okay, so it's beginning to have some shapes there. Well, then we've got these petals. You know what I'd like to do? I'd like to take some of this orange. I don't have much left there. And some of this gold. And kind of put them together. Now I've got a color that's not that or that, but they're very closely related. And that's just great because I'm going to put it in more places in here. I'd started some places like this. Leave a little edge there. And again, same story. Here. And a little bit right up under there. Okay, I think I'll go back to the brighter orange right here for right up under this. That might need some yellow, more yellow in there later. Yeah, I think it's going to need some yellow on it with that shading because that goes a little too peachy something. On the other hand, it's good to keep, see this one? This one's very, very light. I'm going to put the tiniest bit of yellow over that and try to leave that super light, but not quite white. Let's just see. We're just barely knocking some of the white off. Let's not entirely cover every bit of white. Okay. Yeah, like that. And I'm going to leave that white right there. At least for now. You know, you get to change your mind later. So this, I think this is another petal that curls up this way. It's curled back around. I think it is. But see, it could be something else too. You can make it anything you want it to be. Maybe it got eaten off by a bug. Okay. Yeah. Oh, now it curls back. There's a little spot here. That could be one of those little dark openings that I like to have pop. So let's see. Let me get, I don't think I pre-wet my burn umber. See if I can get a little up there. And we'll just put some gold in with it. Because I like gold in everything. Oops. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what that looks like. Oh, I remember. I was using permanent brown before with the gold. And I think I like that better. Well, now that I got some of everything. Can't lose, huh? Okay. So, new paper towel because I've flat drenched that one. And I squeezed my brush out because I don't want to add water to that and thin it down. Let's see. Here's, oops, that's all wet down there. There. Edge right there. Pull it down. And here's another place that I had drawn in. And I like the idea. I don't want to follow it all the way down and make lines coming down. Remember, we talked about those lines, didn't we? Yeah. Okay, let's throw in a little more of something else here. Oh, I know. Let's put some of this blue in. Oh, I'm not going to put it everywhere. Let's go do that much. I don't know. See, here's the thing. You don't have to know. You can play with it. Do something because you like it. Know that you can come back and adjust it later because this is an organic process and it's growing. Which is so much more fun than trying to just follow rules. I always had a problem with rules. Okay, so I'll take a little bit bigger flat And, oh dear, I need to go back to having Quinn Gold. Mostly Quinn Gold. So my thinking was, see, I didn't know this was going to look the way it was going to look, like the light was coming behind it. I didn't have a plan, and then I saw it, and I'm like, oh, okay, let's use that. That's a great thing. In fact, see, there's things on this that I don't think I've quite finished this. It's close. I didn't realize I hadn't quite finished it to just now. This is, you know, one of those petals that's bent up this way. Now you're seeing the underneath of it here. I'm not sure what I want that to do. I think I'll put a little more interesting tip on some of these. Yeah, a little delicate something. Oops. Oh, well, that's interesting. Let's leave it. Okay. Half-inch flat. Water neutral brush, more or less. Let's pull some of that color back, but I don't want to go very far back. I want this area right in through here. See, we've got oranges coming out this way, and then we've got the golds coming back that way. I want this area in the middle to be very light. So if you pull it too far, you're gonna lose what I think is a good effect. And we women get to change our minds, which means that if you're a guy, you don't get to, huh? Okay, it's kind of having that effect. This needs to do something. I think I'll try something different here. I want this is curving down this way, and then this bottom is flipping up. I think I'll do something like that. And then water neutral brush. Let's flip that edge and that edge. That might work. Plot that a little bit. I think that's a little darker than I wanted. Okay, well, we'll decide later if that works. Nothing on here is entirely, I've forgotten how that expression goes, set in something. Anyway, it's not totally determined yet. Oh, we need an edge on that too. Okay. Do I want to do this over here? I don't know yet if I do. If I want to put those tips all the way around or not. See, there's another place I never finished. And I sort of felt like I didn't need to finish it. I do have some interesting shapes in there. That could be played with. Some of this area right up in here. See, that could have a few other things done to it. Not much more I'd do to this. Oh, look at there. Huh. Well, now you see how bright that is, and you see that it's right in the middle of this leaf.